Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the incredible milestone of Laura Wright marking 2 decades as the iconic Carly Corinthos on General Hospital. Laura Wright's portrayal of Carly has become a cornerstone of the long-running ABC soap opera, captivating audiences with her fiery energy and emotional depth. Stepping into the role in 2005, Wright transformed what could have been a challenging transition into a seamless triumph, breathing fresh life into a character first introduced back in 1996 as a bold and unapologetic force of nature. As the fourth actress to take on Carly, she arrived amid high-stakes drama during the November sweeps, specifically in the chaotic aftermath of a devastating train wreck that upended lives across Port Charles. Replacing Jennifer Bransford, whose short tenure failed to win over longtime viewers due to a mismatch in the character's signature intensity, Wright quickly proved her mettle. From her very first scenes, she embodied Carly's vengeful spirit while layering in vulnerability that made the role her own, drawing fans back episode after episode. Over these 20 years, Carly, under Wright's guidance, has woven herself into the fabric of virtually every major plot twist and emotional heartbeat on General Hospital. As one of the show's premier leading women, she's navigated a labyrinth of high-stakes romances and perilous alliances, often finding herself at the epicenter of Port Charles' shadowy underworld. Her entanglements with dangerous figures like mob boss Sonny Corinthos have defined much of her journey, blending passion with peril in ways that keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Carly's unyielding drive to shield her family has evolved dramatically, turning her from a whirlwind of schemes into a pillar of strength and resilience. This growth hasn't come without heartbreak, as she's weathered betrayals, losses, and reinventions that mirror the turbulent lives of those around her. Wright's ability to portray this evolution has earned her a permanent place in soap history, making Carly not just a survivor, but a symbol of enduring love and fierce loyalty. In terms of accolades, Laura Wright's dedication shines through her impressive track record at the Daytime Emmys. Nominated a remarkable 8 times, she clinched her sole victory in 2011 for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, a moment that celebrated her raw portrayal of Carly's complexities. 7 of those nominations fall squarely in the Lead Actress category, underscoring how consistently she's elevated the role to award-worthy heights. This year's nod continues that legacy, highlighting her ongoing impact amid fresh challenges for Carly, from corporate battles to personal reckonings. Despite the single win, Wright's nominations reflect a career of consistent excellence, where her nuanced performances have influenced casting standards across daytime television. Diving deeper into Carly's pivotal storylines, few arcs have tested Wright's range quite like the devastating loss of her son Morgan in 2016. Carly had long braced for the violent undercurrents of Sonny's criminal world, raising her children amid threats and gunfire. But nothing prepared her for the explosive car bomb that claimed Morgan's life. Wright masterfully captured Carly's descent into grief-stricken rage, her scenes of shattering breakdowns and desperate quests for justice resonating with fans who saw her channel a mother's unimaginable pain. This tragedy reshaped Carly's worldview, pushing her toward therapy sessions and fragile alliances, while amplifying her protectiveness over Donna and the extended family. Adding layers, imagine Carly secretly commissioning a private investigation into the Corinthos organization's rivals, uncovering hidden enemies that lingered like shadows, forcing her to balance vengeance with the need to hold her fracturing world together. One of the most gripping recent chapters spotlighted Carly during Sonny's mysterious vanishing act, presumed dead after a bridge collapse, only to resurface in the quaint town of Nixon Falls living as the mild-mannered Mike. This loss thrust Carly into uncharted territory, compelling her to step up as the de facto head of Sonny's coffee import empire and the sprawling Corinthos enterprises. In a bold move born of necessity and loyalty, she entered a platonic marriage with her lifelong friend Jason Morgan, a union that safeguarded assets and symbolized unbreakable bonds amid chaos. Wright infused these episodes with Carly's steely resolve, her boardroom confrontations clashing against tender moments of doubt, as she juggled running the business while mourning what she believed was her husband's end. The plot thickened exponentially when Nina Reeves stumbled upon Mike and sparked a tender romance, her decision to withhold his identity igniting a firestorm of betrayal. Carly's confrontation with Nina unfolded in explosive courtroom drama and raw emotional showdowns, where Wright's portrayal delved into themes of forgiveness versus fury, ultimately leading to fractured alliances that still ripple through Port Charles society. Perhaps the most profound transformation in Carly's arc came after the heartbreaking passing of her mother, Bobby Spencer, whose death in late 2023 marked a turning point for the character. Originally storming into Port Charles fueled by resentment toward the woman who had given her up for adoption, Carly's relationship with Bobby blossomed into one of profound affection and mutual respect. Wright portrayed this shift with exquisite subtlety, showing Carly's initial manipulations giving way to genuine warmth. As mother and daughter built a legacy of shared secrets and unbreakable support, Bobby's absence elevated Carly to the role of family matriarch, evolving her from opportunistic schemer to a savvy businesswoman at the helm of the Metro Court Hotel. In this reinvented phase, Carly mentors younger relatives like Jocelyn and Donna, navigating corporate espionage and personal scandals with a wisdom honed by loss. Envision added depth, Carly launching a charitable foundation in Bobby's name, focusing on women's health initiatives that tie back to her own past struggles with unplanned pregnancies and adoptions, adding poignant layers to her executive decisions and quiet philanthropy. At the heart of Carly's enduring appeal lies her tumultuous, on-again off-again saga with Sonny Corinthos, a romance that's anchored General Hospital's emotional core for decades. Their multiple marriages and divorces, 3 weddings, countless separations have chronicled a love battered by infidelity, mob wars, and ideological clashes, yet resilient in its intensity. Sharing biological children in the spirited Morgan, whose tragic end scarred them both, and the lively Donna, who's grown into a beacon of hope, their bond transcends traditional family structures. Wright and Morris Bernard's chemistry crackles in scenes of heated arguments turning to passionate reconciliations, illustrating how Sonny and Carly's non-conventional setup thrived on mutual understanding until external pressures, like Sonny's mental health spirals, drove them apart. Now co-parenting from separate lives, their interactions brim with lingering tension and unspoken what-ifs, hinting at potential reunions amid current threats from rivals like the elusive Pikeman Group. Carly's steadfast friendship with Jason Morgan remains another pillar of her story, a platonic soulmate dynamic that's weathered 20 years of loyalty and occasional friction. From Jason's returns from the presumed dead to their joint ventures in protecting Port Charles, Wright conveys Carly's unwavering support through subtle gestures and fierce defenses. Their bond, forged in shared traumas like the presumed deaths of loved ones, has seen them fake marriages for business cover and stand united against common foes. Yet, tensions arise, particularly over Jason's complicated history with Britt Westburn, whose cystic fibrosis battle and villainous ties created rifts that tested Carly's trust. In imagined extensions, picture Carly mediating Jason's ethical dilemmas in underground dealings, her insights drawing from her own brushes with the law, ultimately strengthening their alliance as they face emerging cyber threats to the town's elite. As fans reflect on Laura Wright's tenure, moments like Carly's tearful eulogy for Bobby or her defiant stand against Nina's manipulations stand out as highlights. Blending heartbreak with empowerment. What are some of your cherished Carly scenes that showcase Wright's brilliance? Amid these celebrations, whispers in the soap community suggest Wright might depart General Hospital following a major upcoming event, possibly tied to Carly's next big crisis, leaving fans bracing for what could be a seismic shift in Port Charles. Next, we will explore the brewing storm surrounding Martin Gray's elaborate deception involving Veronica Ronnie-Bard and how it threatens to upend Laura Collins' tightly contested bid for re-election as mayor of Port Charles. In the shadowy underbelly of Port Charles elite circles, Martin Gray has long harbored a deep-seated grudge that now risks unraveling everything he's built. Spoilers indicate that Martin's quest for vengeance stems from a bitter fallout years ago when his ambitions within the Quartermain sphere were repeatedly thwarted by family politics and rivalries. He meticulously orchestrated Ronnie's arrival in town, posing her as a long-lost beneficiary to exploit vulnerabilities in the Quartermain legacy. By tampering with Monica Quartermain's last will and testament, Martin ensured the iconic Quartermain mansion, a sprawling estate filled with antique furnishings, hidden passages from its 19th century origins, and memories of generations would fall into Ronnie's hands instead of Michael Corinthos, who was widely expected to inherit as a nod to his steadfast loyalty to the family. This switch wasn't just a financial ploy. It was Martin's calculated strike against those who sidelined him, aiming to destabilize the Quartermain power base from within. Fans have buzzed about Martin's subtle clues, like his evasive conversations at the Metro Court Lounge where he dodged questions about his recent trips to document forgers in upstate New York. As the plot thickens, Martin's scheme relied on Ronnie's silver-tongued charm, drawing her into a web of false promises that included luxurious perks like a private yacht outing on the harbor, all while he pulled strings from afar. The revelation of Martin's duplicity has sent shockwaves through Port Charles, transforming whispers into outright confrontations that could reshape alliances forever. During the gripping October 31st episode, Ronnie's reluctance to finalize the mansion's sale to Drew Kane became palpably tense, her fingers hovering over the contract as doubts flickered in her eyes amid the opulent real estate office overlooking the waterfront. Tracy Quartermain, ever the shrewd observer with her eagle-eyed scrutiny honed from decades of boardroom battles, unearthed what she believed to be Monica's authentic final will tucked away in a forgotten safe deposit box at the local bank. This document, penned in Monica's elegant script just weeks before her passing, explicitly favored Michael, detailing heartfelt reasons tied to his role in saving the family during the Elk crises. Tracy's instincts screamed fraud from the start. Ronnie's flashy arrival with designer luggage and vague backstory about a distant cousin connection raised red flags, especially after Tracy spotted inconsistencies in Ronnie's fabricated credentials during a casual brunch at the country club. Now, with the evidence in hand, Tracy is poised to unleash a verbal barrage on Ronnie, potentially in a dramatic showdown at the Quartermain gatehouse where family portraits loom like silent witnesses. This exposure not only validates Tracy's grifter radar but introduces new layers, such as Martin's anonymous wire transfers to Ronnie's offshore account, which could trace back to his own depleted finances from failed real estate ventures. As Port Charles gears up for what many are calling the most polarized mayoral race in decades, Laura Collins finds her once solid lead teetering on the edge of scandal. The campaign trail has been a marathon of town halls, ribbon cuttings at the new community center, and fervent debates at the police station, where Laura has championed initiatives like expanded youth programs and waterfront revitalization to counter rising youth crime rates. Yet, her long-standing friendship with Sonny Corinthos, a charismatic yet controversial figure whose coffee warehouse empire dominates the docks, has become a lightning rod for criticism. Voters, weary of the moral ambiguities tied to Sonny's past entanglements with organized elements, have voiced concerns at rallies about how this association colors Laura's judgment, particularly as Sonny stonewalls the ambitious Esplanade project. This multi-million-dollar initiative, envisioned as a vibrant promenade with eco-friendly parks, artisan markets, and live music stages stretching along the harbor, promises economic boosts but requires Sonny's prime waterfront plot, which he views as essential for his import operations. Polls from local outlets like the Port Charles Press show Laura's support dipping by 8 points in the last week, with undecided independents citing the mob mayor narrative amplified by anonymous op-eds. When Martin's misdeeds surface-linked inescapably to Laura as his sister, the fallout could erode her base further, painting her administration as tolerant of familial corruption and shifting voter sentiment toward reformist challengers. Tracy's drive to unmask Martin burns with personal fire, yet her strategy carefully spares collateral damage to Laura, focusing instead on dismantling her old adversary's facade. In private musings over high tea at the Floating Rib, Tracy has confided to confidants like Brooklyn Ashton that this isn't about political sabotage, but poetic justice for Martin's past betrayals, including a long-forgotten scheme where he undercut her LQ shares during a vulnerable merger. She plans to leverage her network, perhaps enlisting legal eagles like Alexis Davis for a discreet investigation that uncovers Martin's forged signatures and Ronnie's planted alibis, all while shielding Laura from the media frenzy. This selective vengeance adds intrigue, as Tracy might even tip off select allies anonymously, ensuring the story breaks in controlled bursts rather than a full tabloid explosion. Meanwhile, Lulu Spencer, the rising star of investigative journalism at The Invader, faces an ethical tightrope that could force her hand. Recently, Lulu demonstrated her commitment to impartiality by recusing herself from a piece implicating Michael in Drew's shooting, emphasizing to Sonny over a tense dinner at his penthouse that family ties can't compromise her byline, with Martin as her uncle. Lulu's internal conflict deepens. Sources hint she's compiling a dossier with timestamps from security footage showing Martin's late-night visits to the Quartermain study, but her code might compel a bombshell expose, complete with interviews from shocked staffers who recall Ronnie's nervous pacing in the halls. Laura's response to the impending crisis will test the bonds of sibling loyalty in ways that echo the Spencers' storied resilience. While she may publicly condemn Martin's actions to salvage her campaign, perhaps in a poised press conference at City Hall, flanked by supporters like Kevin Collins, she's unlikely to abandon him entirely, drawing on memories of their shared childhood hardships after their father's abandonment. Inventive plot threads suggest Laura could rally behind-the-scenes support, consulting with old allies like Robert Scorpio for ways to mitigate legal repercussions, such as negotiating a plea that frames Martin as a misguided pawn rather than a mastermind. This protective instinct, rooted in her own history of covering for family during the Casa Dini upheavals, underscores her character as a fierce guardian, even as it invites scrutiny on her priorities. The scandal's ripple effects could prove devastating, with swing voters in neighborhoods like the East Side Docks viewing it as emblematic of entrenched elite privilege, potentially slashing her lead to razor-thin margins just days before election night. Enter Ezra Boyle, the dark horse candidate whose opportunistic rise could capitalize on this chaos and claim the mayoral throne. A former city councilman with a squeaky clean image built on anti-corruption crusades, including exposes on municipal waste and park funding, Ezra has campaigned on transparency and economic diversification, promising to fast-track the Esplanade without compromising on public safety. His platform appeals to disillusioned moderates, bolstered by endorsements from business leaders tired of Sonny's influence. And recent rallies at the community center have drawn crowds chanting for fresh starts if Martin's antics dominate headlines, with leaked documents showing his ties to shady consultants who once advised Ezra's rivals. Boyle could position himself as the ethical alternative, surging in polls through targeted ads highlighting Laura's family baggage. Spoilers tease tense encounters, like a debate where Ezra subtly alludes to the Quartermain mess without naming names, forcing Laura to defend her integrity amid flashing cameras. Ultimately, this web of deceit might not just expose Martin but redefine Port Charles' leadership, leaving fans on the edge as votes are tallied under the harbor lights. Will Laura's experience prevail, or will Boyle's calculated poise usher in a new era? Stay tuned for more twists in this electrifying chapter.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.